Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's good. Yeah. So it's very late. It's 2 a.m. and many of you are probably not used to seeing me at this particular time. But I thought I would do a live video because I've been sleeping all day. So I thought I've only once ever done a live video in these particular hours. So I thought I should do a live video right now and you know, for those who want to talk, you know, ask me something if they want, you know, at this particular time of day, whatever time it is around the world for you guys. Yeah. Hey, Noobstrat. Hola he. Greets from Austria. Hello. Guten Tag. Guten Morgen. Morgen. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Woohoo. So, what a year it has been, people. What a year it has been. I should be wearing a dinner jacket. I have a dinner jacket. I should be wearing a dinner jacket. Maybe later. Oh my goodness. What a year it has been indeed. I hope everyone has had a decent year, even though it's been a not very decent year, you know. Yeah. Yes, indeed. So, so what am I reading? I'm reading at the moment Lord Kelvin and the Age of the Earth. Fascinating, just fascinating. I'm halfway through. And what I'm noticing is that what happened, let me explain what happened in the 19th century. What happened was Kelvin, mathematical genius, used mathematics to explain the age of the Earth as 100 million to 20 million years, and he kept trying to revise it downwards. And he kept saying, along with his colleagues, well, we know the maths, so we're the experts here. We're the ones who know what we're talking about. The geologists don't know what they're talking about. They have wild delusions of endless ages required, because the geologists were calculating how long it took for sedimentation to occur, and they said, well, this is billions of years. And Kelvin, etc., were saying, well, no, because they were looking at the impacts, the mass in the solar system, the impacts on the sun, which they saw as generating the power of the sun. And they said the sun or the Earth is 20 to 100 million years old. And eventually someone said, well, maths, I think it was Huxley, he said, well, maths is actually equivalent to a very good mill. But if you don't grind the right wheat or whatever you're grinding, then the maths is useless. And Kelvin was applying maths to a useless set of assumptions. And what I'm seeing is that is kind of what is happening these days. There is still an overemphasis on maths, and the problem is there are assumptions underlying this, which have not been tested in any way in a laboratory or anything, you know. So, but anyway. Yeah, so Noobstrat says, lockdown year good for researching. Indeed, indeed, indeed. I wonder what time it is. I believe it's quite early in America. I believe everyone's off to work in America at the moment. Yeah, we'll see what happens, you know, yeah. I've been, so have you been reading a bit, Noobstrat? I've been reading quite a bit, actually, but it's, yeah, it's been slow. It's been a slow year. It's been a bit of a drag, and yeah. Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah. Hey, Nicholas, you are cool. Thanks for streaming your information. Thanks so much, Nicholas. Thanks for watching. Yeah. So, yeah, I often don't turn up at this particular time of day. What happened today was I was just sleeping for most of the day. I had 2 naps. I woke up at midday, and then, no, I woke up earlier, and then I had 2 naps for some reason, and then the full moon was sort of streaming in through the window, and I thought, well, what's going on? You know, it's a full moon night, you know, and I believe it's Christmas Eve today or tomorrow. I don't know. It's today. Today's Christmas Eve, yeah. New Year's Eve. And so I thought, yeah, okay, that's pretty cool. So so because I didn't sleep today, I thought, well, I can talk to you at this particular hour that many of you, like, I'm normally never do a lot. I've only once done a live video at this particular hour, you know what I mean? So I thought, well, why shouldn't I do one at this particular hour, you know, and talk to some new people, you know? So yeah, or old people, I don't mind, you know. So yeah. So what's straight? Hey, mate. He says, good morning, Dr. Koss. Hey, mate. Shane Wolf says, peace, man. And what's straight says, it's 9 a.m. here. Sorry, 9 a.m. It's very early for you. Well, 9 a.m. is early. 9 a.m. is not very early, is it? You know, but I'm in between jobs. For me, 9 a.m. doesn't matter. Yeah. So someone actually, there was someone on his. Someone said on the last live video, which was yesterday, someone said, I've asked this question 10 times and you did not answer. And he said, he was saying, what me, wants people to talk to him and then he doesn't answer. And his question was, which I didn't answer, how do you count years? How do they count years in ancient times? Saying, how do they count years? And I didn't answer because it wasn't specific enough. I didn't know what he was talking about. How do you count years? I mean, honestly, how do you count years? What does he mean by that? I mean, traditionally they counted years from the Greeks counted from an Olympiad, and they had a weird system of dates, which we actually cannot translate into our modern system. The Romans used a system that the rest of the Europeans used. They counted years from the birth of a king. Hence, we count actually years based on Jupiter-Saturn conjunctions like the Mayans did, because we count from the birth of Christ, which was actually the end of a greatest conjunction, which is what we've just had, right? So anyway, so that's his answer. I mean, what else am I supposed to say, really? Henrik, how do I say it? Siebem, I don't know how to pronounce your name, sir. Says the handbags seen at many sites might be measuring weights. 1 kilo, for example, would not be unbelievable to associate them with important sites, trading posts. I believe you're correct, Henrik. There was a sacred weight. You know, we've seen the sacred weight. Do you remember I made a video? We said the Great Pyramid blocks actually, the archaeologist Eric von Daniken says this is 300, this is 3 or 20 tons. A ton is almost a useless measure for measuring something on land, because I believe it refers to water displacement. So you would use 100 weights, in which case a pyramid block is actually 30 hundredweights, which is a very convenient and base 3 Trinity-inspired unit. On average, they're about 30 hundredweight. So you're right about sacred units of weights, which are interesting. So Culprit says, now when's all the vampires are out? Indeed. In fact, I'll tell you what happened the other night. I was actually out this time last night after I just finished the live chat, and I thought, I'll go for a walk, right? I go outside, and you know, it's 2020, right? And walking down the street just outside, and boom, a bat suddenly flies out of the tree. And these bats, if they bite you, apparently it's very bad. So I just thought, okay, stuff this. Turned around, went back inside. You can't even walk down the street. Unbelievable. Right. Atheist Dingo says, can't sleep. This stream should help chuckles. Hope so. Dylan Lee says, 9:05 a.m. in Iowa. Coffee is hot. Nice. I got the Earl Grey happening here. I've even stopped coffee. I'm on a diet. I've lost 3 kilos. I'll lose another 15, 20 kilos, and I'll be really skinny. You'll see how skinny I get. But I've cut out all grains and still eating a bit of dairy, but no grains. Like if you eat no grains, there's no addiction. Like there's no cravings. So, you know, you can just lose whatever you want. And I'm still eating the meat and other things. And yeah. So nobody important says, greetings and salutations, doctor. And I wouldn't say you're nobody important. I'd say you're very important indeed. Von Deleu says 13 months. Hello, Vonda. And nobody important says on their fingers and toes. Steph's Manic Shenanigans says, love a sip. Thanks so much. You know, I'm wearing it because when I was 3 kilos heavier, like for most of this year, I couldn't put the stuff on, and now it's starting to fit. The stuff is finally starting to fit. I've even buttoned this up, you know, I'm getting a bit skinnier and, you know, watch, you know, so I'm just, you know, And also, like, it's good to dress up because it shows people that, you know, you respect them. You know, I'm not saying you don't respect them if you don't dress up, but I mean, if you dress up a bit gangster to someone, which I'm not saying is bad, I do that as well. What are they going to think of you? You know what I mean? So, you know, we're having a meeting here, guys. We're having a proper meeting. I'm dressed up, you know, gold tie worker. You know what? I had a professor 21 years ago when I started university. Straight away, we go into a room. First lecture I've ever, and they've since demolished that lecture theatre. First ever lecture at Melbourne Uni. And the dean is talking, and he said, back in the day, there used to be white-collar workers and blue-collar workers. But I want you guys, the science students, because I was in science, to be the gold-collar workers. So here we go, the gold collar. There we go, gold collar. I don't have a gold collar wage yet, but I will. Yeah, but yeah, I will. So what straight says no carbs, be careful. I'm eating carbs, plenty of fruit, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You can eat endless fruit and lose weight. It does not translate into fat the way refined carbs translates into fat, you know. Yeah. And it's just easier to lose weight if you don't eat the grains. There's literally no craving to eat anything. You just feel empty and hungry, and you think, so what? But if you eat grains and you feel empty and you feel like, oh, it's like, you know, you need to eat, or because you actually feel bad, you have this withdrawal. Yeah. What Straight says, don't worry, doctor. Some people want to be the center of attention. Interesting. Herner's site says 29 in chat. Alfred Hardin says, hello from Knoxville, Tennessee, sir. Hello, Alfred. How you doing? I hope you're doing fantastic. Bondaloo says, how did the Romans vent sewer? Waiting for my sluggish plumber. Are you in UK? So you know, in UK people, you have some of the oldest houses on the planet, even older than many houses on the continent. Even on the continent, they prefer to have newer houses. And they will demolish their old houses. You don't see for example, in Poland, you won't see villages, you don't see villages with old houses. They're all kind of new houses and painted funny colors these days. There are a few old houses around, but they're just drafty old things. But in England, where you guys have gentrified your villages and so forth, and you have such ancient, amazing houses, and because the people can afford to live that way, they can afford to have tradesmen with building with the old materials, and you guys are actually kind of lucky, but I wouldn't want to work on an English house. Unbelievable. I mean, your houses are so old. So you're talking about Roman sewer. Yeah, a Roman sewer was a pit in the middle of the street, and they have stepping stones across the street to cross the street. That's the layout seen in Pompeii. So it's just in the street. So it's a Roman city is a very smelly place, for sure. Don't worry about that, guys. Culprit says, if you hear the birds stirring at night, run. It's probably a panther. These panthers are seen worldwide. But do you think the panther has a bit of, needs to lose a bit more weight, has a bit of Loch Ness to it? Because the panther seems to be it's here in Victoria. It's in Britain. I believe it might be in USA as well, the mysterious black panther. What's going on with this creature? So Jaden says, evening, Charles. I've stopped eating bread and grainy booze for about 6 months. Yeah, me too. I'm not drinking anything. Nothing. I mean, I'm drinking tea, but I'm not drinking that sort of drink, you know. Like, there's no need for that, you know. Yeah, so Mark says, greetings, Mr. Koss. Greetings, Mark. Caden says, New South Wales here, and I just woke up. Good morning. I gather you haven't been to bed yet. I actually just woke up, Caden. I woke up at like 10 o'clock this morning, last morning. I then had a nap in the afternoon, and then I had a second nap. And then I wake up and the full moon is pouring in the window between the clouds, looking very mysterious. And so I've slept so much that I thought, you know, I'll make a live so at this time of day, and I'll see some different people because who can't normally catch me. It's pretty early in America, but probably people aren't working. I guess some people are working, right? I don't know. The tradespeople are probably working because they work whenever, you know. Just heard a big truck go by. It's quite unusual. No, it's a big passenger plane, which is quite rare. There's not many of those around. Anyway, so Mark says, looking good, man. Thank you, Mark. Nobody says, quite a dapper gentleman. Thank you so much. Steph says, I know that feeling, except I've finally gained weight. Oh dear, where is it? To wear the things I want to. I was too skinny. Quarantine gave me plenty of time to eat, lol. Mark says that it's a repro. So I've seen videos on YouTube. Interior decorators use this poster a bit. So I thought it's a really nice poster. And if you look up the other King Kong posters, they're not as good as this one. So I bought one. And plenty of printers are making them. You can just buy one. And I just stuck it in a frame. And I didn't do a very good job because it's actually, for some reason, it's hard to center that frame. The backboard isn't the same size as the board, so it's hard to center it. So that's the best I could do. So there you go. Yeah, I got a bit of an American diner theme in this kitchen, kind of. I've got like diner chairs, and anyway, anyway, whatevs. Dylan says, Charles, do you do yoga? This channel will turn into a yoga channel. That's all. I did it 10 years ago when I was a hippie and doing tarot readings. I did yoga every day, and I was eating almost nothing. I was very skinny. I was raw vegan, and I was extremely healthy, very great mental clarity. I felt like a god, but who's got the time for yoga, man? Anyway, so I'll just Von Lou says he's lost 60 pounds on an Atkins diet. You will need 30 grams of carbs a day or ketones in urine. I'll just scroll through a few comments. Sorry if I miss you. You can just write it again. Culprit says someone shot a video of it. So you're talking about the Black Panther running across a paddock in Australia. Apparently a zoo train crashed in Victoria that let them out. Kingfish Kebab says, hey, Doc Chaz, the bags were for one personal stash and used to carry the holy weed. Shane Wolf says, any advice to a 40-year-old with a bum leg to take a year to travel to some of these historic locations you visited in your youth? Well, it was only a couple of years ago. I wouldn't call it. I'm still pretty young. It was only like a few years ago. Look, just go to those. Just go to England, go to Ireland, have a look, and start traveling. Go to the regional centres, go off the beaten track, and just go to Europe. Just go to Europe. That's it. Go to Europe and plan an itinerary to go around the country, and stay in, like, say, 10 different. I would stay in 10 different places. So you're always exploring a new city or something. Yeah. Someone says go to Peru, but I don't want to get altitude sickness, I'm a bit careful. Yeah, Mark says most people do not realize how much their diet impacts their mental clarity. Yeah, Randy says pay me to carry your stuff. Interesting. So what else? What Stray says, I've lost 10 pounds a week from bronchitis. Wouldn't advise it though, it really sucks. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. Peter says, we need a new name for archaeology, meaning we believe a prior worldwide society that had a technology and belief we are striving to understand. Yeah, like I've just revamped my charlescost.com website, and I've written that current archaeologists are actually practicing a form of creationism, because they're saying if we start at 3100 BC, which was a catastrophe, that is creationism, because that is the creation. That is following the creation ideas, and then creation was a thousand years before that, in 4000 BC. So why is archaeology following this obsolete 19th century paradigm? And it makes you think. And archaeologists don't even know they're doing this. They don't know they're doing it. Yeah. Tony says dragons span most cultures like melanin abundant jaguars. Simple Man says, greetings from USA, 10:14 a.m. here. Good morning, afternoon. Mysterious moon last night, had a brutal headache. Yes, indeed. Mysterious moon, that's interesting. I'm going to loosen this because I've got some more kilos. And yeah. That's better. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, it is a mysterious moon. It's sort of popping in between the clouds out there. It's looking very nice indeed. Mark says, old buildings with old school direct heating are great. Vonda says, I'm in USA, Chucky, but UK is interesting as well. Mark says, greetings from Woonsocket, Rhode Island, USA. Jaden says, Cloaca Maxima. Cloaca Maxima. Whoa, cloaca. Right. Nobody says fresh fruits and vitamin D keeps you fit as a fiddle. Jaden says there's a conspiracy that there's World War II tunnels under the University of Queensland that they now use for culty rituals. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. The elite people always love to do their culty little things because at the end of the day, it's kind of one of the few ways to distinguish themselves from the commoners. What are the ways to distinguish themselves from the commoners? What, dress up nice maybe, but no one does that anymore. What else? Let me think. A Porsche Cayenne, which is probably, I believe it's an incredibly boring car to drive. It's not like having a Porsche, a regular Porsche. You know, what's the point, right? There's not many ways to distinguish. Or they might go somewhere like Aspen or something, right? How do they distinguish themselves from the commoners? I know. Let's hold a satanic ritual. You see what I mean? What else can they do? So it wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah, here at some of the elite public schools, like the students, private schools, sorry. But in Britain, that'd be called public schools. The students it was in the news that they were doing things like going to piss on homeless people and stuff like that, you know, just for fun. And, you know, what other ways do they have to distinguish themselves from everyone else? I don't know. You know, there's not many ways to distinguish yourself these days. Everyone dresses the same. Everyone kind of lives the same. If you're in a middle class society in the Western world, everyone kind of drives exactly the same. I'll tell you what, everyone's got the same Mercedes. You know what I mean? How do you distinguish yourself? Mercedes, you know, back in the 80s and 90s would cost more than a house. It was really something to drive one. Now it's like, you know, a third of your wages, you know. Anyway. Not my wages. I don't have any wages. Anyway, but I will. Bob says, I work on old buildings with lime and flint in UK. You do? Maybe I must have seen one of your videos because I've been looking up this old British mortar recipe in the first edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica, and they put Cheshire cheese and a few other ingredients like egg white into the mortar, and it helps the lime set better. Can you tell us anything about that? Because I've actually done that in my lab, and it's but I'm sort of, you know, lime takes a long time to set. I don't want to pull it apart just yet, and you need a lot. You need to lay it on quite thick, or it's just there needs to be a thickness to it, or there's no adherence. Steph's Manic Shenanigans says, I have 2 black cats that fancy themselves as Black Panthers. Oh, interesting. Colby says, are you aware of any sacred geometry or measurements, pi, cubit, meter, found in Göbekli Tepe? I've never checked, but it would be very interesting to check, because if there are sacred measurements in Göbekli Tepe, they're not made by the Göbekli Tepans. They're from earlier structures, and I believe all the cities that we're living in today are built from earlier structures. For example, Versailles, the Palace of Versailles is on one of the Lee line. It's on a Lee line, and radiating from, I believe, Mediolanum in France, from Alesia in France. They're all radiating, as found by Guichard earlier in the 20th century. He was a detective and a philologist, but really an antiquary. Someone said we need a new name for archaeology. Look, people don't do antiquarianism anymore. We are all antiquaries, and so I'm calling myself an antiquary rather than an archaeologist. An antiquary is anyone who wants to do archaeology. Antiquaries invented archaeology. Archaeology is a very, very refined form of it. So we're all antiquarians, you know. Yeah. What were we talking about? I forgot. Yeah. So if they are in Göbekli Tepe, they'd probably be the feet, you know, I believe a 12-inch foot's a giant's foot, you know what I mean? I reckon that was the average foot. Yeah, it goes back to a previous civilization, possibly. Tony Bates says, dragons span most cultures like melanin-abundant jaguars. Yeah. Ryan says, Doc, I caught this one. Yeah, I'm doing it. I slept all day, so I can do it late at night. It's quite late. It's like, sure, it's pushing, you know, it's 2:30, pushing 2:25 a.m. Earl Grey tea, no very important. Mark says, do you subscribe to the theory of geopolymer stones making up the bulk of the Egyptian pyramids? I kind of did, but then I thought, not really. I don't think so, I don't think so. The only thing I subscribe to is the Arab legend that says the stones were on a conveyor belt, they were tapped, and with a flying carpet they were raised. So what is the flying carpet? Is it a crane? What's going on, guys? You tell me what's going on. Lady Zaga says, an archaeologist with a job would be distinguishing yourself. How many high-paying jobs available? Well, not many. They're kind of, there's building archaeologists, and then there's archaeologists looking at sacred sites, identifying sacred sites. But honestly, what kind of archaeology is that? I don't know if that's really archaeology. I don't know. And they work for the government. There's only a few of them, really. I mean, if this is a hobby, what we're doing is a hobby, guys, John James says, I've seen the Penrith Panther one night on Murmur Road. It launched over the 2 lanes of road and barbed wire fence in one leap. Nobody important says antiquarians were autodidactic. What does that mean? Does that mean lots of languages or something? Mark says, I totally see the link between fireworks and CV. Haha. Oh, he's talking to what street? Bob says fats repel water. Many things have been used in mortars. I put 5% sticky rice in sometimes. Great wall. Wow. So, Bob, are you in UK making these doing these old lime walls and restorations and so forth, and taking out the old ones and putting it back in it, putting new stuff and all that? Is that your line of work? Mark says water to move the blocks. Yeah. Lady Zaga says, have you heard of Princess Coronis, lover of Apollo? Coronis. No. Vondeloo says, my great aunt was archaeologist in Florida. She said she didn't make much for a museum. We had boxes of mammoth and shark's teeth, camel toes, and whale ear bones. Yeah. Yeah, the museums don't pay their workers too much. People are lining up to be working in a museum. It's a nice place to work, Yeah. Okay, nobody important says autodidact means self-taught to a great degree. Yeah, we're all self-taught. You're right. We're all self-taught. Oh, Reinhardt is here, and he says, hi, guys. Sorry for joining the convo a bit late. You were talking about cars a minute ago. I have an interesting thing about BMWs. Well, I thought there was a truck going past, but it was actually a passenger plane. You don't hear many of them this year for obvious reasons, because no one's really coming into the country and no one's leaving the country except for like foreigners who have been trapped here, Yeah. You like BMWs, do you? Are you one of these people into 1990s BMW archaeological specimens, You're into the BIMA, are you? Droid says, they just dated a piece of wood from the Queen's Chamber of the Great Pyramid to 3,500 to 3,100 BC. Any thoughts? Yeah, they used they put older wood into pyramids, older things into pyramids. This was very typical. For example, they did this with the third dynasts, who were a completely different race of people to the fourth dynasts. The third dynasts I would describe as Jews, or proto-Jews, and I believe they were overthrown by the fourth dynasts under Khufu, who enslaved them. And I think Khufu was one of the pharaohs. But Moses was a later person. And all that earlier pharaoh brutality stuff was also applied to the Moses story. But anyway, the third dynasts, underneath this third dynasty pyramid, 3,600 BC, you know what they found? All this pottery, this masses of old pottery dating from the first and second dynasties. Why did they collect all this old pottery and plunk it under there? And the theory that I've espoused in my book about pyramids is, well, this was an offering to the god Loki. Loki was the god of technology, and pottery's technology. So here is the pottery you helped us make. Thank you. Here it is, your stuff. So it was Loki's home. It was the home of the fallen angel. That's what I truly believe, because Buddha is also, they built stupas for Buddha. He's the fallen angel in Asia. And he's depicted as a giant, very fat, very corpulent, And this is an offering to Buddha. Same with Göbekli Tepe. When they covered it up, they filled it with flints. And I believe they filled it with flints because that's an offering to the fallen angel, the ancient astronaut. He fell from heaven on a meteorite, or he was Icarus or something like that. Look, where would the Icarus legend come from if there was no ancient astronauts? Where would it come from? Something burning up in the sky. Okay, how would they know, for example, that a meteor was burning up in the sky? How would they know that? In the 19th century, they didn't even know about meteors falling from heaven. How would they know something burning up there? How would they know that? They would know that as you ascend in elevation, the temperature gets colder. So why would they think something can catch fire up there if they didn't have ancient astronauts? See what I mean? If they didn't have modern science, you see? That legend kind of proves ancient science. Atheist Dingo. Hello, Atheist Dingo. And you say, is there a money pit on Oak Island? You know what I think it is? I think it's a mine shaft. I think it was buried up. They fell into it. I think it's a mine shaft. That's why there was like a hook above it, because it was for taking the basket down, you see? But then there's the mystery of all this mystery. I reckon it's mostly to lure investors. I reckon it's all a bunch of garbage mostly with Oak Island. There's something there, but it's a mine shaft. Like, you have to see that was an ancient mining area, so it must be a mine shaft. So I'm going to make a video that it was just a mine shaft, and they might have overblown it a bit, you know what I mean? Sure, they found some ancient artifacts there from the miners, the Stone Age miners who were in contact with Europe, but it's a mine shaft. I mean, what else would it be? I mean, there wasn't treasure found there. There was no treasure. Timmy says, I'm amused Charles is in Oz. Wonder why he's up so late. Yeah, at 2:30 a.m. It's because, sir, I'll tell you why, sir, because I slept all day for some reason. I was just exhausted. I was working on my diploma last night until 4 a.m. And, yeah, because I want to get a proper job, white-collar job like this. Is that? I want to get a job like this, in the finance, So, I'm sick of this, $200 a month from YouTube. So I want a proper job, I deserve it. Reinhard von Holst says, but I refuse to take lessons about self-discipline from a man weighing 20 stone. Well, that's the thing. Gautama was not the original one, right? This Buddha is just Odin. It's an older legend. It goes all the way back. He's Ptah in Egypt. He's a wrapped up mummy, basically, because he's sleeping. So the Egyptian way of showing Ptah Buddha is he's wrapped up. He's sleeping. He's a mummy, you see. But he can wake up. He might wake up. Sharon says, hey from Peru. Wow, hello, Sharon. Lady Zaga says, Princess Coronis' son, Asclepius, is the Greek god of medicine. Who would have thunk? Eric Edwards says, Charles, why do you seem to sweep sacrificial rituals underground, under the carpet? Well, I'm not aware that I am, Eric. I mean, I think you're being a little bit unfair towards me there. I don't think I've swept anything under the carpet. How do you come to that conclusion, Eric? What Street says 27 stone, interesting measure. Jules Verne says, I can't believe you're insomnia lately, Charles, or are you seeking to the Northern Hemisphere audience because they're smarter than us bogans? So in Australia, a bogan is sort of a bogan is someone that if they won the lotto, they wouldn't have any taste. They'd spend it in a redneck kind of way. They're sort of like they're not a redneck, but they're a very, very rough equivalent, sort of. But we don't have the survival or the guns thing here in Australia, so you can't really call them rednecks. They're a bit different. Ryan says, I agree with you on the Oak Island thing. The only fortune there is the one people are throwing away on it. I agree. Totally. Yeah, it's a mine shaft. That whole area is full of mining, ancient mining. Yeah. Timmy says, $1,000. Thanks. Greg says, would you ever travel to Peru? I don't know. Jules Verne says, ever been to a Greek wedding? Not really, but I tell you what, this city, so you don't see this in USA. USA, everyone's from like regular Europe, but here in Melbourne, like there's so many people from Greece, like literally 500,000 people would be from Greece living here in Melbourne. They avoided Sydney or Adelaide. They just came here. So we have, and Italians too. So we have pizzas, the cappuccinos, and all these Greek restaurants, and the souvlakis, which is our version of kebabs. And if you go to the rest of Australia, like here, you walk out the door, there's somewhere to eat. In Sydney, you walk out the door, it's hard to find somewhere to eat. Everyone's skinny. And when you find a place to eat, it's like sandwiches, they don't have the pizzas or it's sandwiches, Anyway. Nobody says, I see you in a BMW Series 8 Grand Coupe Deep Burgundy. I've got the Toyota equivalent of the 8 Series. It's the Toyota Sora, or the Lex LC 300 to you Americans, which is very similar to the BMW 8 Series, but it's 29 years old, my one, and it's not in very good condition. It needs a paint job or two. It's like Columbo's car, basically. I want some money to fix it. Not from you guys. No, don't give me anything. I want, when I get a job, I want some money to fix it. Yeah. Jules Verne says, in a nanosecond, he says nonosecondo. Lady Zaga says, what does Lady Zaga say? It's skipped. I'll just fast forward. Okay, Steph's Manic Shenanigans says, I think Oak Island was used over the centuries for different things, but mainly just to stop from one place to another by boat. I don't think there's treasure there, but I still watch the show to see. Cool. Timmy says, a weaker job, lol. I need to get a job also, lol. Dale says, Grand Banks fishing, hundreds of years before that date. Did Thingo get back to me? He said I was sweeping under the carpet, and now he's run away with his tail between his legs. Well, why do the hidden run like that, honestly? Randy says Sora is a V8 Coupe. Yeah, V8 Coupe, yes. What Stray says, I don't have a car. A benefit? Lady says, I was saying hi from Toronto, Charles. Hello, Toronto. Hello, Canada. Awesome. Greg says he's still selling those wallets. Yeah. Go to my site. It's I'll show it to you. Dr. Charles.club. Oh, damn. It's getting hard to type. There it is. I've only sold like one. So anyway, I made that website. Anyway, thank you. So Jules Verne says they spiked our drinks. Jules, did you wake up feeling very sore? Did you? Did you have a pain in your lower back? Missing a kidney, perhaps? I would be very careful where you hang out and who you hang out with, Jules Verne. Stay away from mafia-type pubs and things, okay? Just go to the regular ones or not at all. Right, so Steph's Manic Shenanigans says, with Spanish and Chinese, it seems by the artifacts found. Scratch says Sora, that's a drift weapon. Yeah, it's Toyota Sora. Yeah, it can, I don't drift with it, that's for sure. Ryan says, but I do love to, what I like to do is, what you do at the lights, I love to if I'm at the lights and in front, sometimes I will step on it, right? And it also has a primitive version of launch control, which is just, it stays in first gear. So you put that on and then you floor it. And then the brand new cars that you leave behind are so angry that they will break the limit and then shoot past you, breaking the limit, and then they don't stop. Over the horizon, they keep going, So that is so funny to do that. Yeah. That's something I like doing just for fun. And I don't break the limit. I just go up to the limit and then I stop. And then they'll shoot past me, 20 kilometers, 10 kilometers beyond the limit, breaking the law, because they're just such a bunch of suckers and sore losers, is it? Yeah. Jules Verne says, except for the flaming macho deviants. Right. So Jules Verne, so you mentioned, was it you who mentioned drinks spiked, and now you're talking about flaming macho deviants? Jules, be careful of the kind of places you're hanging out, mate. I'm getting some strange vibes here. So Ryan says, I was born local to MB and the minority. 90% of the population of Myrtle Beach are from New York. Meow Purr, hey Meow Purr, you were on last night. Says, but earlier. It's 2:41 a.m. here, but I'll keep going. I'll keep going for hours. It says Toyota is the only real car. Everything else is just a toy, ironically. Yeah, the problem with the Sora, though, that the LC300 is that it's mechanics tell me although it's Toyota, it's still a lemon, because the amount of work you need to put into it to keep it running, like it's been out of action for weeks and weeks and weeks this year. Like very few people can fix it. I've got 2 mechanics who can fix it. A mobile mechanic and a regular mechanic, and I'm actually waiting for the mobile mechanic to come at lunchtime tomorrow to fit a part, which I had to get from eBay just to keep this clunker working. Because it's not a clunker, but I mean it's just to keep it working, because the Toyota isn't making the part; it's a third-party part, And anyway, yeah. Someone says try hard Porsche, ugly one though. Lexus Randy. Kingfisher Bob Kebab says Corvettes are the best ride. Andreas Eriksson says, hello, Andreas. Jules Verne says, I love Torontians. Is that the collective name? Nobody says slip them a Mickey. Meow Purr says, how high does the average lifespan need to become for humans to become more advanced? Don't know. Juggernaut says, good morning from the other land of Oz. Which one's that? Jules Verne says, you were quick, nobody. Culprit Black says, you ever seen the Padre Crespi collection? There is figurines of alien parasites chaining up and feeding on humans. I've seen that in a movie once. Jules Verne says, no joke, the donkey was even sick the next day. All right. Donkey as well. Where have you been? Where have you? What kind of place is this, Jules Verne? Yeah. Miri Wood says, Charles, please check this image from Mars rover. Your thoughts? Okay, I'll have a look. Let's all look at the Mars rover. It looks like a little volcano. Little house on top of a mountain. That's funny. It could be an eroded mesa or a volcano. And who knows what the scale is. Yeah, it looks like a miniature volcano. Yeah. That's what I think. Jules says, oh my God, Charles drives Sora. I'm dumping you. So Jules says maybe a classic Porsche 316. He wants me to get one of those. That would be 10 times worse than trying to fix this car. Yeah. Ollie Geef says, what a wonderful content year, Charles. Thank you so much, Ollie Geef. Very nice of you. STD said, morning, Doc. I'm He-Man. Morning. Oh, sorry to punch you guys, Lady Zargard says, I checked out the Padre Crespi collection. Ever seen the Vatican nativity scene? Not really, no. Mary Wood says, look at the stones on top. That is the stones on top. Yeah, that's what is it, a little house or something? Reinhard von Holst says, Charles, adopt an American accent for this one. American shop owner says to his staff, if you hit your target this week, you'll win a Toyota. It turns out the woman won a Toyota. Or a Nissan, or what else? What else do they say? I don't know. Anyway. Andreas Eriksson says, haha, that was unexpected. I must have written ho by mistake. British people say, what ho? They used to say, what ho? Von Lou says, hey, even NBC repeated Charles Bethlehem's star Great Conjunction Theory. Oh, nice. It's the greatest conjunction. Not a great conjunction is every 20 years. Greatest conjunction is every 800 years to 1,000 years. Yeah. And that's what happened this year. So this year was 2012. It was 2012. It's not 2012, it's 2020. So the 2012 calculation is incorrect. It was 2020, and this is what they were calculating. This is why it's at this time. Maurice Chatelain calculated it, and he didn't live to see this day where it's happening. It's right now. This is the greatest conjunction. Isn't it amazing, people? Yeah. So Jules Verne says Bill Gates is buying all of the used. Well, I mentioned Bill Gates. There we go. My channel's dead now. It says Bill Gates is buying all the used cars anyway. We don't need to even think about vintage cars anymore. Why is he doing that? Is he doing that? But why? They're such good cars. Randy says there's another one to the left of the Mars volcano. Ancient History Criticism says, yes, I caught you live. Me and Ancient History Criticisms were talking today because a YouTuber called Wise Up has been slamming Ancient History Criticisms. It's his annual thing because he was slamming me last year, and now he's slamming Ancient History Criticisms. He called both of us shills. So yeah, I was defending you, sir. Yes. Ryan says, have you seen the recent videos of meteorites? They look very strange and very bright, considering some are filmed in the daytime. Give a link. Hoyner's Sight says, ha. Atheist Dingo says, do you think the Hanging Gardens of Babylon was real with all the destruction in the last 2 decades in Nineveh and Hilla will ever be known? You know what? The sad thing is these sites in Iraq were never very popular with tourists. If I was a bit more enterprising, I would have gone to Saddam's Iraq as a tourist. You know, it would have been perfectly safe compared to today, in which case you don't want to go. You know, and I would have gone there, but unfortunately, I wasn't thinking. Yeah. Oh well. Guess we can't go now. Anyway. Ancient History Criticism says, lol, 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 lol. Someone's mentioning this Icaro's thing. I don't know. Can you give me a definition, please? Because I'm not speaking this Spaniola, whatever it is. Team Mizera says, nice to be here, but I have to review from the beginning. OCD, you understand? No, you don't have to. All I'm saying is I'm just waking up. I've been sleeping all day, so I can do a late night one. My hours are screwed up for some reason. What Street says Bill Gates is forcing e-cars onto the market. That's a shame. I mean, the e-car, I tell you what, they haven't taken off in Australia. Everyone thinks these electric cars are trash. No one drives them because how can you rely on them? You know, petrol is the way. I mean, I wouldn't go into the bush with an electric car. Would you go camping with? How are you supposed to go camping? Tell me that. How are you supposed to go camping? In Europe, it's fine. In a small country, it's fine. In USA, I don't think they're going to take off just yet. You know. Ancient History Criticism says, much appreciated, Charles. Water off a sink's back. That's very nice. That's cool. Jules Verne says, computer chipped ones don't go off course, Charles. Get on the set square now, dear boy. All right. Computer chipped what? What do you mean? Oh, you mean e-cars? Yeah. Yeah. Scratch says he won't be buying mine. What do you got, Scratch? Model T Ford, 65 Corvette, Chevy. What do you got there? You got Plymouth Fury, Dodge Challenger. What do you got? Jules Verne says thanks for the backup. You want to sing me a song, do you? Okay. Ryan Davis has posted his video, so check that out if you want. What Street says the e-cars aren't taking. I mean, yeah, who wants them? I mean, the only way that they're taking off is the tax breaks. Are they gonna Are they going to keep taking off when the tax breaks are gone? Are they going to stop taking off? I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, you know, are they going to keep buying them? Reinhardt says e-cars will be dead in the water if the solar flare hits. Look, the e-cars are rubbish. I'm speaking to engineer friends, and they tell me that if they wanted to build a nice car, they would not build an electric car. It would be a hydrogen car, you know, because there's just the weight ratio for electric car is wrong. You need an enormous amount of batteries, and it's wrong, and it won't work long term. And they're going to. But what can we do? We're living with these crazy rulers and stuff. Yeah, how much has the world changed in our lifetimes? It went from sensible to, I don't know, to wacko. You know? I mean, you know, yeah. Anyway, so ancient history criticisms. He has but because he's American, he's got a collection of cars. Because you need backup car in America, right, to get to work. And so he says he's got a '77 Camaro. Scratch has 2 E46s. What's an E46? Jules Verne says, I actually gave you all a link last time at 1 a.m. Cool. Oh, okay. All right. What Strick says, in America, I don't think. Yeah, it's in America, everyone lives in the rural. Everyone lives rural. They don't live in the cities. Like, you know, how are they gonna get there? Where are they gonna charge it up? Is a small town gonna have a charger? You know, it doesn't work. Meow Purse says they're gonna drive infected people to hospitals, right? Randy says I had a '67 Valiant once. Nice. And What Street says, ooh. Maurice says, hey Charles, looks tight again. Ask how precise are the ancient sculptures and languages. I don't think they will ever find out. What do you think? These languages and cultures still exist. The ancient music still exists. Just if you look at, like, I was looking at Byzantine music, and you look at Byzantine music and even Byzantine ritual music, it actually, that's where Arabic music comes from. That's where Turkish music comes from. The Byzantines got it from the Hittites, the same music. I'm starting to believe that the walls, the Inca walls, you can play them. I'm going to play them, the nubs on the Inca wall. They're usually 4 octaves tall, and the ancient instruments cover 4 octaves. And I'm going to play it on a piano or with a recorder, because they're the 2 instruments I kind of know. And I'll do that, and I'll see what the tunes are. You know, I believe they are Scottish-Irish tunes, because they go. You see the nubs doing. And I believe they were recorded on the walls, so the walls themselves record songs, and the songs are needed for the Druids to memorize things, because we memorize things easier when we're having fun. So they would have had songs. A note is a knot. It's a knot on a string, you see. Anyway, that thing. Well, you know that huge ampersand thing at the beginning, the treble clef, the bass clef. It's a knot. It's a tied up knot. You know, it's like it's, you know. Anyway, it's a keeper. Reinhardt says, "Gotta go. Nice chat. See you, mate." Bad Bug. Hello, Bad Bug says hello from Cumbria, England. Timmy says, I have 500 plus digital cars. Are you an artist or something? Yeah. Scratch says, the way he talks about when he mentions the deaf, he smirks. Creepy as hell. Are you talking about BG there, eh? Meow Purse says, gasoline cars can be designed for 50 times more efficiency. It has been done several times. Nobody important says Master Bates seems to be in the autistic spectrum. I see his mannerisms. He certainly is. He certainly is. Miri Wood says energy storage is the main revolution challenge. Hoyner's site says forget electric. 2021 is going mad, Max. Yeah. What Streak says every Walmart has e-car chargers now. That's interesting. Timmy says he bought a digital Ferrari for $2. Okay. Jules Verne says, where will they find the 12-year-olds to mine the depleted lithium? Is it depleted lithium? Didn't know it was heavy enough to be depleted. That's interesting, yeah. Meow Purr says, is it true the Welsh used to use hieroglyphs? No, they didn't have hieroglyphs. They had a kind of stick language. It was very different to the Irish Owen language. The Welsh language is weird because the Welsh are from, you know, the Mediterranean. They're in North Africa. They're like a strange people. Boisterous. They can be a bit aggressive sometimes. They're very shy, but once they know you're a bit of a chicken coward, they'll start to push you around. That's something I've noticed about some Welsh people. Other Welsh people, not that I'm cowardly in any way, I'm just decent and friendly, you know. I probably insulted someone, whatever. Anyway, nobody important says the remote electric car chargers are powered by diesel engines. No joke. Ringo says, Charles rocks! Yeah. Curtis says, good morning. Hello, Curtis. Ancient History Criticism says, I'm excited for musical nubs research. Yeah, I'm really glad. Since you're the world nub expert, I'm really glad that you're seeing some merit in this, actually, yeah. He says, maybe check the oldest Hurrian hymn, Charles, the oldest recorded melody. I made a video on that long ago, the oldest song in the world, and I believe it's up there still, in like 29 or something. And I played that hymn, on my interpretation of that hymn on piano, that oldest hymn. So if you see someone playing on piano, that'll be me playing it, yeah. Yeah. Jogzilla says, no, don't play with, I'll find that video, I'll show you. So it's world's oldest hymn. Let's see if my one's still up. Oh, damn, it's not. Well, I see Jimmy in Egypt. He's in a pyramid. What's he doing there? Oh, where's mine? You see, they're not showing my videos. I don't know why. They don't. Oh, it's so annoying. Oh, yeah, found it. But I won't show that to you because that's on my private channel. Yeah, it's my private channel. Yeah, I won't show it to you. Yes, no, I won't show it to you. But just search world's oldest song and you'll see it anyway. Oh, well, sorry, where were we? Right, Ringo Stark says, pesky druids. Ancient History Criticism says, maybe check, okay. Someone says, no, don't play with the nub. Puppet Bike says, I'm afraid not. Godzilla says, the gasoline engine has been obsolete since the 50s. Tallock and McCullen says, all the best for New Year, Doc. Keep on the vids on tap. Thanks. Scratch says, lol. Jules Verne says, Welsh people sound like they're hiccuping all the time. They talk, you know, they talk like this. This is their accent. They sort of speak like this, you see. They have this kind of accent like this. And you think, what is this accent? Sorry, I can't do it properly, but it's kind of like that. Atheist Dingo says, interesting to know your opinion. Rank these discoveries 1 to 5. Importance to significance. Pompeii, King Cuts, Dead Sea Scrolls, Staffordshire Hoard, Rosetta Stone. Giving me a bit of a challenge here, are you? I don't know what Staffordshire Hoard is, mate. I'd say Rosetta Stone, then Pompeii, then Tut's Tomb, then the Scrolls, then the Hoard. Okay, Godzilla says, my nub starts to hum when I rub it real fast. Yeah, okay. Jules Verne says, and I worked the train through Llandudno Junction, which is somewhere in Wales. Yeah. Tallock says, world's oldest hymn is Methuselah. Mark Collard says, aha, pre-Inca alphabet, musical nub code found in Irish book. Nubs are notes. Yeah, that's my video. That's one of my videos, yeah. What Street says, off topic, but ramen noodles with bacon bits and butter is so delicious for breakfast. Oh, making me hungry. I'm going to get the ramen noodles out. Now I'm on a diet. Yeah. Ryan Davis says, bro, send me the link. I want to hear that song. I'll tell you what, I'll take it off that channel and I'll put it on my main channel because I don't believe it's on my main channel for some reason. It should be. So I'll do that and you'll all hear the song, okay? But it's my interpretation of the song. I could be wrong. And I did this a long time ago. So Maurice says, Charles, if perhaps Stonehenge were built by giants, there's been many footprints all over that place. Perhaps with special radar techniques, you can find them. Scratch says, I've worked in Wales a couple times. Canton, just outside Cardiff, and Ralgan Usk. It's a nice little country, very quiet. I'd love to go there. I want to see what the people look like. I'm very curious, actually. See what the accent looks like. See what the Welsh food looks like. You know, because these are like the Britons from Troy. You know, I want to see what what survives of their culture. Talok says, just say boyo at the end of every sentence as well. Okay, boyo. Scratch says, I'm only 35 miles from Wales. Maurice says, like LiDAR scanning. Ringo says that it was a challenge on our Wales tour to spell where we were. Tougher and tougher after a few bites. Vondeloo says, X's family on Mayflower from Wales. Meow Purse says, what's the biggest giant mummy you believe is real? 14 foot tall is the biggest I believe was legit. Mark Collard says bacon. You know it's bad because it tastes so good. Greg King says, who do you think built the Great Pyramid? The English built the Great Pyramid. That's quite obvious. I've made that obvious in one of my videos from Denmark, from Doggerland. Ringo Stark says, my Welsh pals love to sing when they get a few pints in them. Good lads. They're very boisterous, aren't they? They're very engaging. They're very worldly. They've got all they're very wise people. I got to say, they're very wise. They've got all the wisdom, and they're not naive at all. You know, they're very tuned in, clued in, and yeah. Jules Verne says, who diets? Oh yeah, people who drive Saurus. Jules Verne doesn't like me driving that car. He wants me to buy an old Porsche. Make it even more difficult to get a service. Dimmy says, I've seen metal beams inside the pyramids at Stonehenge. I've seen that too, yeah. It was totally tampered with, unfortunately. Scratch says the Welsh are the nice Brits, lol. Don't you like the English? The problem with the English is like they'll trip over you and then apologize for it, you know. I couldn't believe that because no one does that here. Like they do that in Poland a bit though as well. You know, they'll just walk past you and they'll say, "Oh, sorry," you know, as if they've somehow gotten in your way, you know. And that's on their postcards as well. They're apologizing, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like they're either apologizing or they're on the postcards. They show cartoons on their postcards. They're apologizing or they're not complaining about the bad food. They're saying, "Oh, it was delicious," you know, because they're so nice, you know. And Vondeloo says, X looked like a troll, lol. Nobody important says any nub relation to the Stave Cipher in Rosalind Chapel. I bet Ancient History Criticism is going to look that up right now. Maurice says, we got to go. Have an amazing 2021, Charles. Take care. You too, Maurice. I'm going to wear a dinner. I'll do this again tomorrow, I think, and I'll wear a dinner jacket to celebrate the incoming new year. I don't know. I'm not going to any parties or anything like that. I'm running low on friends this year because of all the lockdowns and losing contact with people and so forth. That's the way it is. Captain Chaos says, your streams are great. They give us something else to focus on considering the state. Now, Jules Verne says, AMD are quiet and gentle, slow to anger, but bitter if they are puzzled with sarcasm. Is that the Welsh or what are you talking about, Jules Verne? Ancient History Criticism says, if the Kipu rope not language is possible, I certainly think Nubs could be saying something. I like the music idea, reminds me of Tolkien, Iluvatar, and the great music. Mark Collard says, Timmy, there's a video with Obama at Stonehenge, and you can see the inside of one of the stones, and it looks almost like it was plastered over a different kind of rocks inside. What Stroke says reminds me of the metal clips in stone. Scratch says, Stonehenge was restored back after the Second World War. It was initially to make the stones safe as a lot were toppling over. Right. Criticism says, yeah, okay. Yeah. Ancient says metal clamps, they are a pumapunku. Nobody important says, any info on the Ring of Brodgar? I've forgotten what that is, the Ring of Brodgar. What is that? What do they mean by ring? This is in Ireland as well. It's like a chain of islands or something. Oh, you mean the stone circle at Brodgar? Yeah. I don't know much about it, but I've made videos about it, saying that, you know, it's it seems to be a quarried type of stone because it's got sharp angles and so forth. Yeah. Godzilla says wear an aviator helmet and some goggles. Talik says, what's your tipple for New Year whiskey? I don't drink. I don't drink that poison, mate. What do you think I am? Just kidding. Timmy says, nubs may be positive and negative. Hoyner's site has given me a lot of pictures. Ancient History says, yes, Timmy, maybe positive, negative. Yes. Right. Jules Verne says, with my car, you can only fit 3 friends and the rest think you are leaving them out. Yeah, I know. Once I went on an expedition, so there were people staying here and we were going to go see a volcano in Western Victoria. And there were 4 sleeping over here after a party or something. And the next day I found out, only 2 in the back seat. 1 person stayed here. 1 person just left, unfortunately. Yeah. Oh, well. Oh, hi, Sherman. Hello. Yeah, so, yeah, you can... but my mum likes this car and she wants me to keep it. And I'm not going to go against her because it's not a good idea. So I'll have to fix it. Someone says my car, I bet it's frosted mint green. It's navy blue. Mark says, Timmy, I know the story is that the stones are all toppled over and they rebuilt it. But the reason I question any evidence of alignments with them is because they are not in positions and he stopped, so he hasn't written anymore. Ancient says, no, nubs at Roslyn Chapel. That type of Scottish masonry is too late in time, mortar used. Perhaps some nods to older architectural motifs, though. I see. Yeah. Ollie Giff says, have you come across information about a connection between Dogland, Friesland, and England? Yeah, they were joined together. Sherman says, ancient history criticisms, good morning. Jules Verne says, I've hit the wall off to bed. Thanks for being jolly. See you, Jules Verne. Yeah. Miaper says, capybaras are docile because they were the pets of Peruvian giants. That's facts. Ancient says, not petrified wood because we see bedrock examples. Mark says, always listen to mum, always. Mia Wood says, Charles, how do you think our blood types define the... I thought something was outside. No, it's okay. Where were we? Okay. Nobody says, I'm a first son. Patriarchal line of Clare is why I ask. I now. So you are important after all. We've got that out of you. Godzilla says the moon wouldn't let me sleep. Yeah, wake me up as well, actually. Meow Purr says, scientifically speaking, how big would a giant sausage be? Ricky says, scratch. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. rightio. So what have I missed? So yeah, Gerald says Happy New Year. Not yet. You're a day ahead, sir. Certainly a day ahead. Yeah. So Hoyner's site says map all architecture that is the same on Google Earth, move back the continents to the way they were before to reconstruct ancient cities. Remember, El Dorado is under a lake. Good luck. Oh, hi, Roxy Rocks. Godzilla says, lol, well, gorilla is 2 to 3 inches. I'm not reading that. Gerald says, just in case I don't... Okay, they're having a little convo there. Ryan says, it's an annoying American fad to say the word facts after stating an opinion. Unnerves me. Yeah. Me too. Yeah. Me too. Oh, no, it doesn't unnerve me. Yeah. Right. So nobody important asserts that the lineage and a nickel still won't pay for a gumball. Okay, that's very interesting. Yeah. So does anyone have... has anyone been on any expeditions lately since we're all antiquaries to any ancient sites? Can you tell me something about them? Please share it with us. I'd love to see, if you guys have been somewhere. What have you discovered? Someone earlier on in the feed said that they saw a black panther jumping over a fence in one leap or something like that. And he said, watch out for the black panthers going out there, And so, yeah, you never know. I mean, nighttime is the time of weird things, right? Yeah. So everyone's saying what they hate. It's okay. Ancient says, I'm sitting on photos of Portsmouth, Ohio mound group. Oh, sounds interesting. Are they still around or have they been demolished? Meow Purse says, I'm not American. I'm from Mississippi. Right. Team says, missed my question about Kepo, sorry, being significant and relating to working. Guys, don't talk to me in your sentence fragments. I want a full sentence so I can, understand what you mean. Okay. Talek says, we don't go on expeditions. That's your job. Hi, Ziggy. How you doing? Yeah. Culprit says, Zayat El-Arian could be the same bath that the first human was born on by an alien mother. Mark says, I seceded from the USA. So you have seceded, sir, from the USA. Right, okay. Ancient says, only bits of the mound group remain. So you're talking about the Ohio Portsmouth mound group. Only bits remain, mainly a big horseshoe-shaped man. You see, it's a snake. Horseshoe, it's a snake's jaws. It'll be intercepting a sacred alignment. Jules Verne says it's just dead nucleotides, period. Anthony Falke and the... Why are you telling me this stuff? It's not Ancient Mysteries. Ancient says, hi, Ziggy! Yeah! Have to be careful. The neighbours are just out their window. They're going to be like, I can't sleep 3 a.m. Once I switched on my juicer, the juicer just over there, and I could hear, like, there's 3 units there, what you call condos, beyond the fence there. And the middle one, I could hear he came outside and he slammed the door and he was just standing out there. And I was using the juicer at 3 a.m. and I didn't care. Like, who cares about them, honestly? Do they care about me? No. So I'm happy to wake them up. Yeah. So nobody important says, I've traveled. Just kidding. I don't wake people up. But I did use the juice because I just felt like it. Nobody important says I've traveled 48 of the US states plus Canada and Mexico. Chaco Canyon, Grand Canyon, Anasazis, you name it, I went. Nice. Ricky says, I have been to the pyramids. I learned in Egypt, if you have enough money, nothing illegal, especially if you're blonde. Cool. Yeah. Maya Wood says 20 years in several countries in South America, including Peru, Colombia, living in Uruguay now. Nice. Godzilla says supposedly there's a pyramid on private property very near Serpent Mound. Well, but I told you this. The alignment, the solstice alignment, you look at what the snake's pointing to in the distance, it was setting on a pyramid. The sun was setting on a pyramid, you know? Yeah. So, okay. Hoyner's site says, do you think esoteric secret societies taken from the original thinkers like us, they watch, or do they already know? I don't know, Hoyner. Not sure, sir. Woo. Amjoie says, I've been to Persepolis. What you don't see in all the photos is that there are tunnels running all around underneath the site, but I would have explored them but didn't bring a flashlight. That's what you see at ancient sites. You see that almost all the photos taken are like one photo. And when you see the ancient site itself, you get to enjoy the surrounds and you get to make your own archaeological discoveries that people simply don't know about. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Congratulations on being there. Yeah. Talork says, who built foundation stones at Baalbek? Oh, probably the same people who built the Great Pyramid, I would say. Mark Collard says, any thought? You don't build the Great Pyramid. It seems Khufu was in charge of Egypt and that's it. You don't build the Great Pyramid if you're only in charge of Egypt. I mean, it's quite an undertaking. And you've got a country of 2 million people. Talok says, no, Mark says, any thoughts on the Newark stones, Decalogue stone, authentic? Let's look it up. I'll just Google it quickly. Newark stones. Newark holy stones refer to a set of artifacts originally found by David Veritsk in 1860 within a cluster of ancient Indian burial mounds near Newark, Ohio, now generally believed to be a hoax. The set consists of a keystone, a stone bowl, and a decalogue with its, what's a decalogue? With its sandstone box. They can be viewed at the Johnson Humrick House Museum in Coxon, Ohio. It is thought, it's okay. Oh, it's written in Hebrew. It's in Hebrew. Oh, it says it's in Hebrew. And well, maybe yes, maybe no, along with everything else, right? What else did you say? In addition to the Newark stones, I'll just put a link to that because so people can see what I was looking at. Is the link. And you said the Decalogue. Yeah, I don't know. Ancient says, I'd love to see under Persepolis. Roxy Rock says, I'm going for coffee soon. But the most interesting thing I've come across was some dead coral growing in a vertical grotto in Panamint Valley, which is near Death Valley, California, a long time ago. Nobody says, I'm an ancient history autodidact, compelled my whole life to search. I'm 50 and seen almost every park or monument in USA. Good on you. You're amazing. Ancient history criticism says the people also laid the Baalbek foundations who laid Nihar Temple foundations as well as the Western Wall of Jerusalem. You're right. You're right. Yes. Timmy says, I wonder the point of the pyramids or obelisks. Indeed. Shermanator Osborne says, I found thousands of arrowheads in my local river bed. Oh my God. Scratch says, the ancient sites are aligned across the planet. I have a link to a GIF image showing the alignments and it shows the locations of ancient pole positions. Gerald Wagster says, Panther Mound in Florida is looking directly at the Sphinx. And it's looking back directly. Check it out. Ricky says, what you don't see in photos of the pyramids is Pizza Hut. Godzilla says, Khufu repaired the pyramid. Meow says, why do people assume aliens are from planets with fancy names. They probably live on planets with names like XB543. Greg says your new intro is great. Jules Verne says I've been to paradise but never been to meet. Another useless comment about archaeology. Right, okay. Okay. Mark says the Decalogue that we've just been looking at, and it's in the link, is an abridged 10 Commandments engraved in stone. History criticism says the Giza pyramids and other sites in Egypt have nubs, so we can definitely say the builders were using nubs. So they must have had a connection with the nub builders. Criticisms, can you tell me if the nubs are built by the pyramid builders or if the pyramid builders recycled stones with nubs on them? Nobody important says at 18 I loaded up my van, returned 5 years later. Took a bit longer than expected. Oh, you went everywhere in USA, but there was so much more. Took my time and camped the whole way. Wow. Uncle Shep says, I have faith you will figure things out, Charles. Mainstream will never because they are one-way thinkers. Your brain is all over the place and that's good. Cheers. Cheers. Shermanator Osborne says, dead coral on the hill of the Ozarks. Vonda says, I cried in Indian caves when for Wisconsin. Wow. Yeah, wow. Ziggy says, I found the nub in the step pyramid. I'll tweet it to you. Check us out on Twitter as well, people. We're chatting to each other, saying ridiculous things, having arguments, because the nature of Twitter is, unless you're in an aggressive frame of mind, you don't really say anything, unless you want to share something. Scratch said I made a video about me in West Kent Long Barrow a couple of years back, but it was like 1 a.m, so it's a bit dark. I'd love to see that video. Please link it here if you want. Hoyner's site says, I see the shapes of the continents in the sun. You need a high contrast on the sun, and the continents can still be difficult to find. Not sure if anyone else can see. Maybe nothing. You are incredible. That's an amazing assertion, because what would that actually mean? Because it was thought that the sun was a lens in ancient times, projecting and focusing what it was, the light behind it. So why would it be focusing continents at us? Don't look at the sun though. Oh my goodness. Meow Purse's best evidence aliens, your opinion? I don't believe in aliens. I think they're us, really. Just future versions of us. Ancient history criticism says, great question, Charles. The portcullis nub at the core of the Great Pyramid. So it must be an early stage when it was installed. The casing stone nubs would be later, I will admit. So ancient. Does the portcullis nub have a function in the portcullis or what? Yeah. So where are you getting the fact, Godzilla? There's 2 to 3 layers in the pyramids, and the oldest layer is larger blocks and stepped. Oh, yeah, I guess it is. Yeah. I'm getting a bit tired of talking. I'm talking so much. So maybe in 10 minutes I'll probably wrap this up. Yeah. So Louis says, a busy effigy, eject element, and opaque crest, you've double... okay. So many sentence fragments today, people. I want a full sentence to read. So Mark Collard says, that is awesome. You must have a ton of great memories. Did you notice any huge differences in how people treated you across the US? Were people generally nice or mean to you? Am Joie says, any insight on the origin of male circumcision and how it ended up being practiced worldwide from ancient times? It must be incredibly ancient, Am Joie. Nobody says, Michelle Gibson has some excellent global alignment videos. Her old ones are compelling. I've never heard of this Michelle. Who's Michelle Gibson? I'm going to look this up. Is she a good-looking one? Michelle Gibson. Let's look at Michelle Gibson. Alignments. Let's see. Alignments. Yeah. Right. Let's see. Anyway, right, so Scratch says, I'll go make a few vids public. You might find them interesting inside Salisbury Cathedral too and the Magna Carta. Be right back. Oh, cool. And then, I'll wait for you to post them here. Roxy Rock says, do ancient redwoods and sequoia Do they count? Okay. Space Coyote says, I barely got here 10 minutes ago. No, you're leaving, Charlie, you're leaving. Richard says, Happy New Year, Charles. Space Coyote says, super hoity. History Criticism says, portcullis nub might just be an authenticity stamp maker's mark, but it did serve a function. Timmy says, might be the trinity, duality, and balance. Hoyner's site says, I've wondered what it would be like to see the solar system in sphere, crystal ball. Place something liquid or fluid in space as a crystal sphere. The sun is fluid-like. What do you see? Vargster says, Carl Munch has all the alignments using Giza as a reference. His mapping even covers Mars. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm getting a bit tired of speaking. I was speaking, I guess, because I was speaking too much yesterday. Did this yesterday as well. Yeah. So we're waiting for that guy to make his videos public because I want to see them as well, and then I'll probably log off and, go to sleep again or stay up all night or something. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Jill says, I just woke up to Yemen's new parliament was killed. Bloody heck. I want to check that out. Mark says, thanks for the awesome chat. Thanks, Mark. Puppet says, that came out rang. Cool. Okay, yeah. Jules says, I can stay awake. Oh, I can stay awake longer than Charles can. Talok says, keep speaking, boss. Tell us some new findings that change our perception. Am Schwa says, I like the teacup. It's been in the family for a long time, actually. It's from England, I think. Yeah. Sherman says, love and curious being, son happy. Nobody important says her older videos were zero woo. Ricky Spence says, looks English. Yeah, it is. It's Royal Dover. There you go. Yeah, so one thing I wanted to tell you people was that some people attack me on here. They say oh, you believe this or that, and therefore you got these wild ideas. God, I've got so many conventional ideas more conventional than the modern people. My wild ideas are actually more conventional than the modern ideas. You know that they're archaeology, as we said earlier in the video, is based on creationism. Humans pop up in 3000 BC, and I'm saying no, we had technology before that. And they're saying, no, we can't. And I'm saying, well, why can't you? Are you a creationist? Do you believe in creationism? Why couldn't we? And they don't have an answer to this because they've got such tiny minds, Anyway, yeah. Well, I mean, isn't that the case? Yeah. Now you guys talking about fine China and all this? Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been a long year. I'll tell you that. It's been a long year, but I want everyone to have the best year ever next year. Yeah, let's make it the best year ever. Ancient history criticism says it is the case, Charles, that people have tiny minds. It is the case. I mean, you're right. I mean, you're looking up the nubs and stuff, and no one has ever thought to even look at these nubs. I mean, even Wise Up was telling you earlier today, he was saying to you in his video about you, because Wise Up made a video attacking ancient history criticisms, and he said, what did he say? He said, this guy believes that. How do you do the northern accent? How do you do the northern accent? How do you do the? I can't do it at the moment. I'm probably a bit too tired. But Yorkshire accent, and he said this guy believes that bumps on a wall is writing. And then he called him a shill and told him to F off my channel. But it is writing and music. For sure it is. There's codes in there. For sure they are, because that's the only reason you'd make them like that. So Jules Verne's giving me some astrological stuff. Godzilla says we shouldn't believe the TV. Ricky. Talok says your Yorkshire's more Scots. Yeah, I can do most of the British accents, but just not at the moment because the brain's not working at the moment because it is kind of late, you know, and it's probably half switched off. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was. I was putting a bit of Glasgow. There's two types of Scottish. There's the Edinburgh one, and there's the Glasgow one, which you can't understand. And the Edinburgh one is kind of like, it's kind of a gentle type of Scottish, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Sherman Osborne says that's the only reason for them. Yeah. Gerard says my TV left years ago. The Space Coyote says it's morning. It's 3 a.m. here. It's morning here too. Good morning, Sol Invictus. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Randy says do a Gaelic accent. I can do... I can do an Irish accent, actually, but I don't want to do it at the moment because it won't really work. Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually pretty good at accents, but not now, not today. Yeah. So Jules Verne says my English boyfriend's Aussie is better than Charles' any accent. Ancient history criticism says right scratch, Braille and Morse code are good analogies and comparisons, but they're a bit more complicated. Telok says, bet you can't. Nobody important says, I try to be the kind of, okay, I'd like to be friends with, polite, courteous, proper. Ryan says, I can do a good Boston. You can do the Boston. That's nice. The Boston is, you know, it's a sort of conservative American kind of, you know, what is it? It's a kind of, Boston is where they have the, that fashion label, isn't it? What's it? I've forgotten what it's called. The American fashion labels. My head's going to sleep, I guess, even though I've been sleeping all day. Anyway. Pilot Bike says, give me an interview sometime in 2020-21 if you want a nub hypothesis you haven't already heard. Sol says he likes the poster. Yeah. Okay, that people isn't... I'm waiting for this person to come back before I log off so he can post his links here because, you know, anyway. Yeah, I'm just feeling a little bit tired because I guess I've been writing. I've been talking a lot yesterday, and so therefore it was kind of a mistake to do the video today because I'm a bit tired. But yeah, Ricky says mine's a mixed-up mess. I've lived all over the US in Boston. They can't pronounce R's. Yeah. Jules Verne says I slept 24 hours recently and suffered even more later. Cool. Well, I've given that guy 10 minutes. He hasn't posted yet, so I'll probably log off soon because I am a bit, you know, a bit tired and yeah. So yeah, so I guess I'll see y'all guys later, and yeah. And I'll read a few more comments. Andy Kane says, we call each other Mara in Cumbria. When I was in Basra, Iraq with the army, my interpreter wondered why I was calling him a woman. Apparently in Arabic, Mara means woman. Yeah, it's similar to Mary, isn't it? Or Miriam. Yeah, you're a Miriam. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll log off. Thank you, Barilla Ramirez. Says, Charles, your content is amazing. Yeah, I try to do that, you know. Okay, so I'll see you guys later because I guess I've been sleeping all day, but I'm still tired. So, ciao, wow, pow, wow, ciao. See you later. I might even pop back in tomorrow. I'll have the dinner jacket on because of the New Year's, and I'll see y'all. And bye-bye. Okay. Hey, Scratch. Okay, Scratch. He's posting his links. Okay. So these are the links that we were waiting for. So you've caught me just as I was going to log off. So Scratch. So just copy and paste the link, and you might want to sub to his channel or whatever if you want to. Or these are just links of like he said he was at he said he was over at okay, I'm subbing. I've subbed. Salisbury Cathedral, UFO hunting. You got a video of Salisbury Hill and West Cannock Long Barrow. You went there at night time, and then West Cannock to home, presumably because you had a long drive to go to work somewhere. Thank you for putting them up. So everyone, just copy and paste, and just sub to Scratchy if he wants you to. Maybe it's a secret channel. Oh, you posted 10 minutes ago. Okay, good. I didn't see it. Okay. All right, I'm going to log off now. Well, Wobby1 says, hi again, Charles. Hope you're well. I'm logging off. Catch you all later. And I will check your videos now. And have a nice sleep. I will be probably up until dawn. It's 3:35 a.m. here. Bye-bye. See ya.